Here's something you need to consider before actually doing it, and that would be cutting into a public sidewalk. There are some walkways that might be private. You would need to actually verify this with the city. Another thing is not to cut into the curb or drill holes into it. It's real common to drill a hole into a curb so that you could put some site drainage in. Extremely common. Now, cutting a sidewalk, this is something that if this is a public sidewalk and it's owned by the city, and now don't be confused. There are builders who will build the sidewalk. They will build the curb. They will install the street. And then at the end of the project, they give it to the city. This is common. This is so that the builder doesn't need to maintain it. This wouldn't be a problem if this was a private walkway and the property owner maintained it. Totally different thing, which you would need to actually validate that by checking with your local building authorities. This would be the city planning department or the city building department for clarification. Now, here's one of the problems that you're going to encounter, and this is what the city doesn't want. If they went ahead and they poured a nice concrete walkway around here, and the concrete's perfectly fine, and you take and you cut it and you install these brick pavers, and then they're sticking up a little bit, there's gaps in between it, or it starts to you start to have problems with erosion and the bricks start to sink. This creates a safety hazard that you might not have encountered with concrete. So, and that might be the reason why the city doesn't want you to do that. So if you are going to, or you would like to install something in your sidewalk, even if you want to cut the sidewalk because you're going to install something and then repair it, this is still something you would need to check with your local building authorities. Now, obviously, if this is something you don't want to deal with, you can do it over the weekend, fine, knock yourself out. But if the city ever finds out about it, you could have some problems. What would they do? I don't know. I mean, if you fixed it and it looked good, I don't really see where that would be a problem, but I'm also not the city. We were actually going to do some work on the street in front of our house, and they said that if we wanted to do the work, they wouldn't charge us for the permit. I was like, really? This all we're going to do is fill some asphalt in the front so that it looks better. We got a couple of divots in there. And they said, no, you can't do that without a permit. So that was just filling some small potholes that the city hadn't got to and still hasn't got to. It has nothing to do. You could see where something like that would be a lot smaller than something like this, cutting a section out of their sidewalk and then replacing it with something that could actually create problems for them in the future, as I pointed out in the video.